Yo guys, what's up? It's been a while since I made an update video, so I thought it wise to make one now. Like the title says, you already know what I'm going to be talking about. So if you're curious about why I'm making this decision, what led me there, my process, just stick along, watch the video, and hopefully at the end you can get some value from this video. This is also like a video series of video diaries for me to just see how the process was for me. Hopefully watch this in a couple of years and look back at how much growth has been experienced or how dumb the decision was. I guess only time will tell. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's go back a little bit to why I studied medicine in the first place, or why I decided to study medicine in the first place. When I moved to Europe a couple of years back, 2016, I had no plans of studying medicine. I came to Europe, I was going to study artificial intelligence because I love the brain, always loved the brain. I always loved helping people, so that was always the backdrop. And I thought if I could, this organ which is so fascinating to me, if I could put that into something which could serve humans, wonderful, wonderful. That was my naive brain. Of course, if you look at the development in the AI, there's a lot more that goes into that. But of course, my childish brain, naivety, wild imaginations, I could dream, and I was dreaming big, and that's what I wanted to do. And then I moved to the Netherlands, and there were no bachelors at the time to study AI. So then I had to settle for the next best thing which I could use, or I felt like I could use to help people, which was medicine. And medicine was already very present in my subconscious because family wanted me to study medicine because of my results. Teachers in school expected me to automatically study medicine because I was good at biology, good at math, and they just thought I would be a good doctor. And there was a lot of expectations from others, but I'm someone who never really, if I had the chance to, never really went with people's expectations. I always tried to do what I felt like was best for me or what I really wanted to do. I don't know where that came from yet. I'm in the process of figuring it out now, but I never went with that. So I still found a way to convince myself AI is what I wanted to do. When I moved here, it was very disappointing that I couldn't do AI. There were master programs, but there weren't bachelor programs, and go studying a bachelor's in Japan or America was just ridiculously expensive. So I decided to go with something else because the goal has always been to help people. So if I can find something else that would help me achieve that goal, I was okay with that. So I applied for medicine. It was a rough application procedure, like one of the most rigorous application procedures I've ever gone through. But eventually, thanks to God, I got in at the first try. So then started studying medicine, and I really enjoyed it. It's been one of the most fun experiences so far in terms of learning experiences. The bachelors and the different style, the problem-based system of learning, which is focused on just shaping you to be a good person next to being a good doctor, as opposed to a lot of my classmates who I know who are studying medicine in Cameroon and America, who are very focused on the knowledge and the competitiveness of the whole thing. Here in Maastricht, or at least for my university, was mostly focused on making you a good person, making you a good doctor, and enabling you to be there for your patient and see your patient as a person, as opposed to just seeing them as a pathology. So I really love Maastricht University. The bachelor's was great, the master's was great, but towards the end of, and this was really life-changing for me, towards the end of the bachelor, so year 3, because it's split into 2 parts. There's the bachelor's and then there's the master's. The bachelor's is 3 years, and then you get a bachelor's degree in medicine, and then the master's is 3 years, and you get a master's degree in medicine, and then you're an MD. So after the bachelor's, towards the end of it, so like culminating, there was COVID. I lost 3 family members who were very close to me, who were very dear to me, and I had to finish, I had to graduate. And I know that was a very tough period for me. I started struggling with anxiety. I started dealing with things I've never dealt with before, but I just pushed through till the end because I know I would feel worse if I didn't push through, as opposed to pushing through and then allowing myself process things at the end. People process things in different ways, people grieve in different ways, and I feel like that was just my way of grieving. But ultimately, at the end of it, at the end of the bachelor's, I had to take a break. I thought, okay, if I keep going, I would crash at some point. And I also started coaching towards that period. So I know that's something I would not advise to anyone I'm coaching. So I need to practice what I preach. But also in that period, there were a lot of things that I began to, there's something loss does with you. Losing people who are very dear to you, who were there one day and who are not there another day, really puts things in perspective a lot of the times. And that just pushes you to realize the finite nature of life. And the fact that you can be there today and not be there tomorrow is something which is like a wake-up call. You cannot waste your time. We have limited time here on earth as humans, and we cannot waste that time doing things which is not filling us, which we're not using to serve others, which makes no sense any way you think about it. I feel like that's something which for me just came very close at that period in time. And I started asking myself a lot of these questions, why am I doing this? Is what I really want to do? But then I didn't have to make any decisions with regards to my medical path or my medical career because I started it, I'm going to finish it. That's one thing I like doing. If I start something, I'll finish it. Unless it's really compromising me, I would not stop it halfway. So I still had a lot of time to go before the 3 years of the master's were done, and I'll have to figure it out. But I know the dilemma had already started arising of, why do I want to do this? is this something which I really see myself doing long term? I want to help people, but is this the best way for me to help people? So I have those questions a lot. And I started medicine with the goal to become a neurosurgeon. And my first rotation during the masters was surgery. And after the rotation, just seeing the way the surgeons interacted with each other, the lifestyle of a surgeon, the things I know I value in life, family, friends, seeing how much of that people had to compromise to get to these places, I was like, you know what, realistically, knowing myself in the future, I envision for myself and my life, surgery is not for me. So let's just park neurosurgery. So I just let go of that idea really fast. And I saw what neurosurgeons did as well. And I was like, I had an overly romanticized picture of what neurosurgeons do. Like it's very intricate stuff, it's very complex stuff, very specialized and very nuanced stuff, but it's not interesting. Like these people sit there for 6-7 hours, scraping away brain cells. I think there's quite a few more things I could imagine, which would be much more interesting ways to spend my time than doing that. But I mean, if you really like it, do it. And I think you can save a lot of lives with that. But for me, that was just not the way I thought neurosurgery was. That's not the idea I had of neurosurgery. So I was like, after that, it was easy for me to let go of the idea of neurosurgery. But I still wanted to work with the brain. I was like, okay, maybe there's something in there for me in psychiatry or neurology, because that's still brain stuff. And then after psychiatry, I just had a lot of difficulty with letting go of the patients and the pathologists when I got home. Like I just had a difficulty disconnecting because I would keep thinking about how did they get there? You know, what happened to them and all that kind of stuff. And just the realization of that, the burden that could come with that for me, because I'm a very empathetic person, maybe not smart. So psychiatry was also not a great idea for me. And I think I just also did not like the patient interactions I had. I always felt like it was trying to solve a problem as opposed to just interacting with humans. There was always a problem. I just didn't like the idea of having to there's something wrong with you, we have to fix it. So psychiatry fell off. Neurology was the last one, and that's something I was really going along with for the longest time. Until my last rotation, I did 2 rotations, like 3 rotations in neurology in total. So the normal neurology rotation, I did an elective for neurology, and I did my final senior rotation at neurology. That's the one where you have a lot of responsibilities and you're actually functioning as a doctor at the neurology department. And I love neurology. I love my colleagues, at least most of my colleagues. But just the working in the hospital, that was a big dilemma which I had to juggle. Is this the environment I want to spend the majority of my time working in? And along the way as well, during the masters, I started coaching a lot more, and I will finish rotations from 7 in the morning till 5-6 in the evening, and I will go home and have a coaching session at 9. The amount of energy I would get from coaching just far outweighed the amount of energy I would get from being the whole day at the hospital. The amount of energy I get from traveling and visiting friends and learning about new cultures, and I have a genuine curiosity about people in general, so having deep conversations with people on my travels or when I go visit them and stuff, that fired me up a lot more than I noticed I was getting energy from the hospital, because I also got into medicine for the purpose of helping people, interacting with people, and getting to connect with patients. But that's something which in the modern healthcare system, at least in the Netherlands and like other places I also visited to check out, you don't have that much. It's like a pathology comes in, we deal with the knee, we deal with the ACL tear, we deal with the gallbladder, and they go out. Like the patient interactions were not really there. And you have these testimonies of people who are talking about, and people have different experiences, but it's like you're gonna see 50 patients and you're actually gonna be able to connect with one of them out of the 50, because the rest are just in, out, in, out. And I felt like that was not what I got into medicine for in the first place. I got into help people, and I felt like I wasn't really, you're part of a team, and anything you're doing, it's not like you are doing, it just felt very, at some point it felt very empty, like I wasn't helping anybody concretely. You think about it, in the biggest sense of things, you are contributing part of the help they are getting, but like I was not really at least I felt like I was not helping anyone concretely. So that's something which I struggle a lot with, and I talk to a lot of people, and some of them say maybe you're just a medical student and it becomes different when you're a specialist and stuff like that. But I could see in the specialists, because I also had a lot of deep conversations with some specialists who are open to it, and I could see that they did not necessarily talk to patients anymore, because all the junior doctors are the ones who actually talk to patients. They see patients at the outpatient clinic, but then it's like 10 minutes and then they're gone. Maybe they build a longitudinal relationship with the patients. I don't know how that works, but it did not feel for me like a lot more or a lot better or a lot more of what I wanted. And I talked to a lot of specialists as well, and all of them just give you the same advice, and it felt like when I always explained my dilemma to people, they would just give me like generic answers, like just, medicine is you can do a lot, you can help a lot of this, and you can, but it never really felt like they were giving me answers that were tailored to me and my personal situation. So I kept pondering upon it, kept asking myself questions, kept having conversations with some people, friends, family, and a few conversations really gave me a lot of stuff to work with, just concrete tips and concrete steps I could take. And for me, it was always that thing of a lot more people regret the things they did not try than there are people who regret things they tried and failed. you know, because failure is where growth comes from. And the least I could do is try out this other thing which I feel like I want to try out. And if that doesn't work out, I could always come back to medicine and like resume. So ultimately, after like having a lot of conversations, I was just like, you know what? Let's try to do something else. Let's do something else. I'm young. There's no pressure whatsoever to have it figured out now. One thing I've also come to realize is it's a ridiculous idea that at the age of like 15, 14, you should know what you want to do for the rest of your life. Like who lied to us like that? Life is change. Change is a constant thing in life, and you should be allowed to try new things and fail. And, you know, at the age of 40, start something else. At the age of 50, diverge into something different and try it again. It's all about trying, learning, growing, and allowing yourself to just experience life and live and not feel like you're being dragged by life. So after a long dilemma, it was a hard dilemma, guys, because family were not understanding where I was coming from. Some friends, a lot of my friends were not understanding. It did not make sense to a lot of people. The thoughts I was having and the decisions I was making, heck, to me as well, sometimes it did not make sense. It was like, why are you going to leave the certainty of this? Why are you going to, after all these years, why are you going to leave this for something which you don't know how it's going to turn out? You're not sure of it. You don't have any concrete plan yet. But for me, it was just, I felt strongly in my heart that there's something God has put in there. Like there's talents I have which I want to explore. You know, coaching, mentoring, traveling, exploring, public speaking, all these things which I feel like I have talents in, but I just have not given myself the space. I've not had the time to be able to fully explore them because of medical school. I've done them to a small degree, but what happens if I actually like invest a lot of time into that as well, proportionate to the amount of energy I'm getting from them? What could become of that, you know? And I feel like it's a courageous thing to take that step, because I talked to a lot of my classmates and I had these conversations as well towards the end of my program with a lot of my classmates. We had discussions, and a lot of them are also doubting working as doctors, but then it's like a lot of them don't know what else they would do in their life if they didn't do medicine. They don't like it, but what else are they going to do? They've spent so much time doing this and they've not spent any time exploring other things they like doing. And a lot of them really just blatantly say it. I know I'm not going to like it and it's probably going to ruin my life, but I feel like I have to try it before I know it's not for me. I'm like, okay, I get that. Sometimes you have to experience stuff for yourself to really internalize the fact that it's not for you. But there's also some courage that comes in seeing others who have gone before you and saying, okay, I don't think it's going to be much different when I'm there, because I just don't have the skill set to be able to change a whole system like that at the moment. Neither do I want it that much. And taking the step to say I'm going to do something else, it is a very big decision, and it's something which I struggled a lot with, but it's something I know that I have peace of mind doing. Like, it's explaining it to people and navigating the nuance of that switch is difficult, but the peace of mind that comes with knowing that I'm living a life which I intentionally choose, that is priceless. What I'm going to do now, what the future looks like, is I work in travel medicine. So I left clinical medicine, but I've not left medicine in general. The goal has always been to do something with medicine, to do something with healthcare back in Cameroon or somewhere in the area. So I'm still going to do something with healthcare. I know how important it is for people to have like a healthy, functioning healthcare system. I'm going to do something with healthcare. Now I work in travel medicine. Funny, I like traveling. I did medicine. I work in travel medicine. So funny. I'm going to make a separate video talking about what I do exactly in travel medicine. Travel medicine is part of medicine, but it's social medicine, not really clinical medicine. But on the side, I'm also trying to just invest more in content creation, in coaching, in mentoring, in talking to people, in helping people navigate their own unique journeys, in traveling, in connecting with people, in just being more present with people and navigating that. I think there's a lot I can contribute in that space, and I think there's a lot I can learn in that space as well. So I'm working in travel medicine now, and that is part-time. And on the side, I'm doing like my coaching more, I'm doing mentoring more, I'm doing content creation more. I'm just trying to be more intentional with the things that give me energy, and I'm still figuring it out. It's a long journey to figure it out as well, but I think I'm just trying to listen to that inner voice, and I'm trying to practice what I preach. Because I know if someone came to me for a coaching session and they told me what they were going through being me, I would advise them exactly what I am doing now. I would not advise them to stick to something just because they've been there for a long time. And I feel like it's a legacy I'm also trying to set. It's a legacy I'm trying to set for those who are coming after me, for those who are looking up to me. You know, like I have junior brothers and nephews and nieces who are going to grow up one day and who are going to have to make this decision as well. And the last thing I want them to remember of me is that I went along with something that I didn't really have a passion for, I didn't feel strongly about, just because society expected me to go that way or because I had been there for the longest time. No, the legacy I want to leave is you can do anything you put your mind to. If you have the talent and you have like a passion for something, go for it, whether it makes sense to everyone else or not. Pray about it, execute, make a plan, and go for it. That's the legacy I want to leave. And I feel like it is a tough thing. I don't see that many people who are doing it before me, so it makes it even tougher to navigate that space. But I feel like like that's sometimes the burden of trailblazing. It's like sometimes you have to experience stuff for the first time, so others who are coming behind you don't have to experience it. And I've had that a lot of times with studying medicine in Maastricht University in Dutch and navigating that and just moving to a new country, coping with the culture and everything. So it's something which I'm quite familiar with, having to experience stuff for the first time and others learn from it. But it's just sometimes it feels hard. It feels like I just wish I had someone who could like give me pointers and stuff. I do have mentors and I take the advice very seriously, very dearly, but it's just the path I'm trying to navigate. It's something which is very new to me, and I don't see that many people who are doing it. So it's just trying to stay true to my unique path in life. Not always comfortable, but I think it's still the best path you can be on. You know, your unique path. There's no one else like you, and no one else has the same path you have. Only you can walk that path, and I think that's the best path for you to walk on. And the good thing is, you walking your authentic path is the best version of you that can be there for anyone else around you. Like, you being your authentic self is the best version of you, not only for yourself, but also for those around you. Everyone benefits from that. I think that's just where I am now, and that's the path I'm going down. So if you're curious about what this journey is going to be like, I document a lot of it on Instagram, just the daily ins and outs. I'm going to be documenting a lot of that on YouTube here as well. I also make TikTok videos for people who live in the Netherlands. So it's going to be an interesting journey. I'm looking forward to it. Not gonna lie, there's some level of anxiety in there. I'm a little anxious about, you know, it's a big step. It's a big step, and I'll be lying if I came on here and said I'm fully 100% confident about what I'm doing. Who am I kidding? So it is a big step. It's sometimes nerve-wracking. It sometimes feel like you don't know what you're doing. But then again, I have peace about it. And I think that peace of mind, that one that goes, you know, that peace of mind that goes far beyond human understanding, that's the peace of mind that I find priceless. And I think that's something which I could only dream of when I was doing my last rotation in the hospital. And it's like now just waking up every day excited to go to work, excited to come home and like talk to people, excited to coach, excited to mentor, excited to travel and the next destination and all these things, and seeing how much I learned from all this and seeing how much I grew as a person. Man, it's so good. It's so good. And I feel like, I don't know, you never say never, but I cannot see a world wherein I'm gonna regret this, because worst case scenario, you fail, and from the failure you learn and you grow. So yeah guys, that has been it for this video. I don't know if this video made any sense to anyone. I'm gonna watch this back in 10 years and be like, Himo, what were you talking about? Like, what were you on about, bro? What were you even trying to communicate? Because you were making no sense whatsoever. But yeah, that has been it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comment section if any of this made sense to you. I'm curious if this makes sense to you, because most of the people I talk to, it doesn't seem to make sense to them. It makes sense to me, but yeah, let me know. You never know. I'm just sharing my story. I've over the years come to realize there's power in sharing your story. You never know who your story can empower, or you never know how far your story can go into uplifting others as well, or just letting others see another perspective. So yeah, let me know if you found this helpful in some way, shape, or form. And if you're curious about what the journey is gonna look like as well the coming years, hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm reach out to people as well and get the video to the people he has to get to. But until next time, guys, hope you all stay blessed and peace.